Today's special guest is Kennedy Nash. Kennedy is a registered dietitian currently working at WIC. She is a graduate of the University of Georgia. Kennedy enjoys pouring into people of all ages, encouraging them to be healthy mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. She loves food, fun, and Jesus. Kennedy is married to her husband of 1 year, Damian K. Nash. Together, they teach people how to be healthy individuals and cultivate healthy relationships. They have a YouTube channel called Damian and Kennedy, and they just released their new book, hashtag Completely Married, available on Amazon. Hey Kennedy, thanks so much for coming on today. I'm so excited to have you.
No, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I was thinking, I want to do something to help moms. We've been in quarantine, we're eating bad. Who can I get to come talk about healthy eating? And I was like, Kennedy loves food. She's my friend. We both love food.
Yes.
So I wanted you to come on and talk about healthy food can be tasty food, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you love food and you eat well and you prepare meals that look great. And I love to follow you on social media because you post at least once a week or once every 2 weeks some wonderful food experience. So it's just so fun that you really live by that. Healthy food can be tasty food. So why do you think healthy food gets such a bad rap?
Mainly because it's the stereotype as if it's healthy, it tastes nasty, or if it's healthy, it's really expensive. And that is far from the truth. Of course, there's expensive food that's deemed healthy, and of course there's some nasty food out there that I don't personally like.
Right.
But overall, healthy food can be affordable and delicious.
Okay, so it can be affordable and delicious. And so what are some of the things that I need to look for when I'm reading food labels? Because now I want to eat better. I've been in quarantine and I'm smashing ice cream every night and I'm eating chips out of the bag because all I do is put on sweatpants. Now I want to read food labels. I want to be conscious. What do I do?
Yeah. Well, it's important to note that the food labels are changing. You might see some with the old label, you might see some with the new label.
Okay.
And so if you look at this is the current label, and this is the new one that you should be seeing more foods move to. But the most important thing to check out when you first are looking at the food label is the serving size.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're eating more than the serving size, you're going to get more calories, you're going to get more sodium, you're going to get more sugar. So it's important because these numbers are based on the serving size.
So if I just say, it's only 230 calories in that, but I've eaten 4 servings, that's not true.
Yes, exactly. And that's a huge misconception with most people. I'm like, well, I only ate, it says it's only 100 calories, but that was for 2 cookies, and you ate the whole bag. And so looking at the serving size versus the serving per container. And that's one of the things that's changed on the new label. It's more realistic. Sometimes food companies will use a smaller serving size to make the food look like it's more nutritious or less fat, less sodium.
Okay.
So this is more realistic standard size.
Okay.
So you always want to look at the calories as well because I like to think of it as an allowance. Calories is what we need for energy, but is those calories packed with nutrients that's going to help your body thrive and function like it needs to? Or is it empty calories? Is it just a ton of calories with no vitamins, no protein, things like that? And so looking at the calories, checking out the fat content. So you want to do more of a less in saturated fat or trans fat because that can be detrimental to the heart. It raises the bad cholesterol and it can lower the good cholesterol. And so you also want to look at the sodium content. If it has a ton of sodium, that's not good for your blood pressure or your heart either. Right. And then also added sugar. That's one of my favorite new additions to the new label. It shows you what sugar has been added to the food product that wasn't there before. Okay. For instance, yogurt. Do you like yogurt?
I love yogurt.
I hate yogurt. But, but for those who do love it, yogurt has natural sugar in it called lactose, and that's the milk sugar. But if you're getting a flavored yogurt, like strawberry flavored yogurt, it can have more added sugar into it. So it'll show you the amount of sugar, like for this one is 12 grams, but what was added was 10 grams. So of the 12, 10 of those grams were added from whether it's sugar content, the sugar, the name of it, or sucrose, or high fructose corn syrup, whatever names for syrup that you'll find in the ingredients
Oh, wow.
list. And so for the things that you want to watch, you want to make sure you're getting less than 10%. But for things that you want more of, getting more than 10% or even 20%. So like some of the vitamins down at the bottom, you want to get the more, the better.
Oh, see, that is so good. I didn't know that either. So I want to get more of the good things, more than 20% of the good things, and less than 10% of those things that I didn't want. So it's saturated fats and trans fats. So what are good fats? What are bad fats?
So the good fats, quote unquote
Quote,
good, are things that come from like plant oils, like olive oil, sunflower oil, sesame seed oil, things like that. The bad fats can come from like the animal fat, say like pork or a steak with a lot of fat in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the milk as well too, if it's like a full fat milk, and those can clog the arteries. Now some other food that has the good fats as well as like nuts and seeds or even nut butters. Also the fatty fish like salmon or mackerel, things like that can have heart healthy fats as well.
Okay, so which ones are bad? Saturated or trans?
So trans and saturated fat are the ones that you want to stay clear of.
Okay.
Anything that says unsaturated fat or mono or polyunsaturated are good. But for instance here, they're not usually labeling the unsaturated fat. It's going to be the saturated and trans fat that they're labeling.
Oh, okay, so that's what's going to be labeled.
Yeah,
and
so
you want less than 10% of that, or 10% or less, is what you were saying. Okay.
And so here it says that there's 8 grams of fat, total fat, and there's 1 gram of saturated fat. So we know the other 7 grams is the unsaturated fat, and so that will be a healthier option to do.
So that is so good to know, because I didn't even realize that they only would put those quote-unquote bad fats on the label. So that is really, really good to know.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my research about, okay, healthy eating, what do we need to do? What does it mean to engage with our food?
Yeah, and so that is using all the senses. So you're looking at the food, and you're smelling the food, and you're tasting the food, and you're slowing down to really enjoy the food.
So are you saying typically when I'm on the couch with a bag of chips, I'm not engaged?
A lot of times, and when we do that, we tend to eat more calories because we're doing it not paying attention. If you're reaching out the bag and you're watching TV and then you're like, oh my gosh, I ate the entire bag. But when you're focused on it and even portioning out, if you have like some chips or popcorn on a napkin or in a bag, a sandwich bag, you can control how much you're eating. But that helps you really enjoy the food as well. Have you ever eaten like a cookie and you're like, man, I didn't even remember that cookie.
Yes.
And now you need another one.
Right.
But so if you're engaged with your food, you can really enjoy it, take your time, and really allowing your body to tell you when you're full.
Oh, so if I'm not paying attention to the food that I'm eating, is it more likely that I won't notice that I'm getting full?
Yeah.
And I'll eat past the point of being full.
And a lot of times, for instance, Thanksgiving, we tend to eat a lot, eat really, really fast because it's grandmama's famous recipe that she only cooks one time a year. We're eating, eating, eating. We get seconds, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I cannot breathe. It's because we ate faster than what our body can tell us, because your stomach sends hormones and signals to the brain to tell you that you're full. Have you ever eaten and then taken a break for like 5 minutes and come back, I'm not even that hungry anymore?
Wow.
That's the thing. Your body is signaling to tell you that you're full. And so slowing down, enjoying the food will be a more pleasing time, and also it'll help you prevent you from overeating and being too stuffed.
You hear that, moms? Encourage our girls, our teens, to be engaging with their food. That will cut down on that pantry being depleted within a week of you going to the grocery store. It's always like, are you in the pantry again? Yes, I am, because we're always here. We're always in this house. We don't get to go anywhere. I'm here. I'm always in the pantry. So if we're mindful with our eating, then that keeps our grocery runs down, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how hydration affects our eating habits?
Yeah, and so that can be looked at in multiple ways. Sometimes hunger can be a sign of you're really being thirsty. And also if we are drinking a lot of like added sugars, like say if we're drinking Kool-Aid or soda, that can increase our our calorie intake and our sugar intake, and it can prevent us from actually eating the foods that we need to, function. And especially with little kids, a lot of times kids would rather just drink, and they're saying, "I'm full, mommy. I'm full, daddy. I don't want to eat anymore." And so that can prevent the other foods from being consumed that will actually give you the nutrients that you need.
Very important. Okay. So sometimes you think you're hungry, but you're really thirsty. I know my youngest, he has a problem with that. He does not like to drink his water. He's always drinking juices, and he doesn't want to eat his food.
So a tip with that, offering the food first, and then maybe 5 minutes later offering the drink for the little kids. And so they are getting some, and then also limiting how much they get at meal times as well can help. So that way you're not getting full off of drink.
Okay, so you're giving us all this great information, and now I'm like really excited. So do I just quit everything all cold turkey and start a completely new diet, even though I'm a beginner, or is there a way that I can gradually work my way into this new eating style?
So that's a great question, and I do not recommend cold turkey because that usually doesn't work. Have you ever said, "I'm never going to eat sweets ever again," and then in 5 days you're like, I don't even care anymore about health, and that's not good.
No.
You need to do small changes that are realistic, and that's what we call SMART goals. So something specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time specific. And so say instead of I just want to eat healthy, that's not how can you gauge that. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to drink 1 cup of water a day for the next week until I can drink more cups of water each day. And so taking those small baby steps to reach your goals. And when you're really making changes, it should be something that's lasting, not something that you're going to go back to the old you in 2 weeks. So something that's sustainable and that's realistic and not putting yourself in punishment.
Right, because then you just rebel, and like you said, you're gorging, and you're like, why did I just eat a whole bag of gummy bears? I wasn't supposed to eat any more candy ever again. So that's so good. That's key. And I want everybody to listen to that. Like, okay, gradually, let's make some gradual goals, right? We're not going to just run out and change our whole lives overnight. So does meal prepping help? I see all these people posting things about meal prepping. People are paying people to meal prep for them. Does that help? It just sounds like a lot of work to me, Kennedy. What do you think?
Meal prepping can take a lot of time if you let it. And so I love to use this. This is the ChooseMyPlate.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
No.
Yeah,
it's my first time.
It's the old, or it's the new My Food Pyramid.
Okay.
So it's now on a plate, and it lets you know how much you need, and it's more realistic because we're not eating on a pyramid, we're eating on a plate.
Yeah.
And so if you're, saying you have your grains that you want to cook for the meal, or throughout the week, say it's like rice or bread or anything like that, pasta, and then you have your vegetables and your fruits, your protein, and your dairy. But say if you don't want all of this at one meal, maybe you can just have half of your plate vegetables, and then having your grains and your protein like fish or chicken, and then for the snack you can have your dairy and your fruits later. And so that's a great way to plan accordingly while you're still needing doing what you need to get throughout the day. Also, a thing that I love to do is repurposing food. So say if one meal you're baking chicken, and then you have your vegetables and your grains, and then you have leftover chicken, you can shred that and add it to a salad, or you can wrap it in tortillas and add some more beans and other vegetables and things. You can make it into a soup. So it's repurposing stuff.
So I don't have to let that rotisserie chicken just sit in the back of the refrigerator.
Exactly. Okay. And you don't have to keep eating it as rotisserie chicken.
Because after the second portion, I'm like, now it's just a rotisserie chicken carcass that's just going to sit there until I eventually throw it away.
And another thing that I love, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, the one sheet pan recipes where you can do like your meat and then some root vegetables and some onions, peppers, things like that.
Yeah.
You drizzle a little olive oil, season it, and then you pop it in the oven, and you have a complete meal with just one dish.
That's amazing. Those are amazing.
Yeah, and so that's one of my favorite things to do when I'm trying to plan ahead.
Oh, that's a great tip. Okay. So another thing that I saw, and that I'm guilty of because I have small kids, but can you tell us how highly processed foods train our palates? Can you teach us about that?
So we all know that sugar tastes amazing. Butter tastes phenomenal. Salt is just, it just heightens our taste buds. And so when we feed ourselves those highly sweet things, highly salty things, when you taste something that's less in salt, less in fat and sugar, you're not liking it because you're used to that heightened, very palatable food. And it's something that I actually had to train myself when I was going into college, and I actually cooked for my friends, and they're like, "This is so salty," and I was like, "No, it's not. This is how we ate." But growing up, we had a lot of salt, a lot of butter, a lot of sugar, and so I slowly took some of the sugar and the salt out, and I was able to adjust my taste buds. But then when I went home for Thanksgiving, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this stuff is so salty!" Everyone else like, "No, it's not." And so it's something that you can train yourself little by little. You don't have to go from a whole bunch of salt to no salt at all, but just tweaking a little bit, and that can help retrain your palate.
Oh, okay. So what about those grab and go snacks? Because prior to, sitting down with you, we didn't really know that we can prep and make delicious snacks. So are those not the best idea? Do those have a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, those types of things?
So it just depends, and that's something that you have to look on the food label, because there are some nutritious grab and go things, but that will be more expensive. The more that it's packaged and separated for you, the more you're going to pay. But say if you get a larger bag of something and you portion it out yourself, and that can be your grab and go that you can do, that's more nutritious, it's going to save a lot of money, and that you can still be inconvenience for you.
So you don't have to give up the convenience, but in place of the nutrition.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Or the price. You can still find a balance. So that was really, really good. So you walked us through a lot on how to read the labels and how to prep what we need in our diet. Can you give us some resources for us moms where we can find healthy and yummy new recipes?
Yeah, and so this is, like I mentioned before, the MyPlate, and there's a website called ChooseMyPlate.gov, and it breaks down all the food groups. It tells you what's a proper portion size, how much the kids need, you need, and all those things. And it also has recipes that are very nutritious and delicious.
Okay, good.
And the thing about that, you can always make a recipe fit you and your family. Say if something has peas in it and you don't like peas, you know your child doesn't like peas, switch it and add something else. You can always make the recipe fit your family, and it can be something that can be that you can include the kids in with as well too.
Awesome. So, what was the website?
ChooseMyPlate.gov.
ChooseMyPlate.gov.
And also EatRightorg is a good one as well too.
So
EatRight.org.
And it's pretty easy to navigate. So it's something that your teen daughter could maybe go on there like, "Hey mom, I was looking, I saw these, can we try this out?" And then you guys can maybe go to the grocery store and buy it and then make that together. And then you're off on the road towards making better health choices that taste delicious. So, this has been great. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for coming on today. I think we are empowered, and we're going to go make some tasty, healthy decisions.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Okay, Kennedy. So you have a special treat for us today. So some practical tools on how healthy food can be tasty.
Yeah.
So what are you going to show us?
So today I have one of my go-to breakfasts, or even like a snack or dessert, and it's called apple donuts. And what I have is, this is a Fuji apple, but you can really use whichever one you prefer.
Whatever your preference. Okay.
This is granola, any type of granola that you like. You can also do like almonds or pecans or anything that you like. But this is a whole grain granola with almonds in it as well. And then you have a nut butter. This is peanut butter. You can do almond butter, cashew butter, whatever butter floats your boat.
Yeah.
And then cinnamon. I am a lover of cinnamon. I put this on everything, just about.
I know, it's so perfect for fall too.
And
So
so it's a nice. You could probably do like nutmeg too, or like a pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice,
do that as well.
So you can make different variations once you get this down. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a washed apple. And what you just do is you cut the top off. Like so, and then get rid of that piece, and then you just cut it horizontally, okay, just kind of like 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick. And this isn't the best knife, definitely want to use a better knife than what I got here, but just like that, okay. And then what you do, you just cut around the core, Or if you have a core, if you're fancy, you can
Yeah,
use
a
that
core
as
you
well.
can
Yeah.
Those things always look cool, but I don't have one.
Yeah, so you just cut around it like
Okay,
that.
that's good.
And then you push it through. Okay. So just get the seeds out. Just like that. Okay, and then push it out. Like so. And this is your trash. And so then you just take your peanut butter or your nut butter and you spread it on. So you see where the donut looks looks like a donut. It's not really a donut, but it kind of resembles. You just spread as little or as much as you like. Just know that peanut butter or nut butters can be high in calories and fat. So if you're trying to watch your calorie intake, doing more of a thinner slice or thinner spread. Okay, just like that. Super simple. And then you take your cinnamon. And I just have organic cinnamon. You can get whatever cinnamon you got. This is just what I had in my counter. And then you just lightly dust it as such. And then you just sprinkle some of the granola. Okay, as much or as little as you like. Okay. And then there you go. You have your apple donut. Now, did you want to try it for so that way you can tell us whether
This looks amazing.
whether it is really good or not.
Oh my goodness, Kennedy.
Is it? How simple is it?
Good. This is so simple. It's perfect for a mom and daughter to make together.
Yeah.
It's delicious, and you can eat it on the go. You can, well, not on the go because we're really not going that many places with COVID. But it's great because I feel like right now with COVID, we're eating so many things that are not the best for us because we're kind of eating our emotions because we're stuck in the house.
Yeah.
This would be a perfect go-to snack that is so delicious. It's crunchy. It's smooth at the same time, and then it has a little texture. I love this. This is so good.
And so you can really make it your own. Like I said, you can use whatever kind of apple you like, whatever spice. You can omit the cinnamon if that's not your taste. You can, change the granola. You can do
change
nuts.
the nut butter. You do
Yeah.
pumpkin spice, you said, if you like, because it's that time of the year, it's fall. You can do a pumpkin spice, or you can do nutmeg, whatever. Maybe some people may like clove,
Yeah.
just whatever you like.
So I'm going to try my bite too.
It's good. It's such a good snack.
Yeah, snack, breakfast, dessert even. Still has a sweetness if you're trying to watch,
It'd be great for dessert.
And so there you have it, apple donuts.
Thank you, Kennedy.
You're
Awesome.
Very welcome.
Did you enjoy that episode? Well, it's not over yet. We want to keep this discussion going. Hop over to the Cherish Stories Revolution Facebook group and leave a comment now. If this content is engaging, helpful, and empowering, please subscribe and share with your friends. Let's be real, parenting teens can be hard, but you are who God chose to guide her to adulthood. Keep going, Mom. You have everything she needs. God's equipped you for this, and we're here to help supplement. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next episode.